Welcome to the Key to All of This with Tim and Dylan. Today is May the 4th. Tim, May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Thank you. We got some awesome stuff going on today in the Star Wars world. Specifically, Bad Batch, The Bad Batch, Episode 1.
What a first episode it was. Not only did we get to see further content about Order 66,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to see a fan favorite return, multiple fan favorites return,
Yeah.
including Caleb Dune, Saw Gerrera, and I guess Admiral at this point,
Yeah.
Tarkin.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. When it first started and it was showing the Clone Wars and it started with Order 66, I was like, are we going like pretty far back in this? Because they were still talking about Obi-Wan and General Grievous, so I wasn't sure if it was going to start out maybe around then. But then it immediately jumped to Order 66, which I thought was a great starting point. And it's telling the exact story that I wanted from The Bad Batch.
It also gives you the exact story that Kanan told, Ezra in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that play out and was really cool. You're getting kind of a sense of how and why stormtroopers weren't made of clones. It's
Clones,
really
yeah.
just Tarkin just wants to spend less money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He wants a coupon for clones, and the clones are
Yeah.
like, this coupon expired 12 years ago with Sifo Dyas.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that that's what they're doing because I don't know what other story they possibly could have told with the Bad Batch beyond what happens to all the clone troopers after Order 66 because we obviously never see them again. But I thought that was awesome. I'm glad that it started out the way it did. I was a little iffy at first because I wasn't sure if this was going to be another Clone Wars cartoon, but it's not. It's going to be a whole new thing.
I love how Crosshair has kind of taken the reins of being this villain. I feel like Star Wars does great work with villains who have you could see the glimmer of their like redemption in them.
Mm-hmm.
With Vader, even with Maul a little bit in Rebels, and so to have Crosshair, he's like not actively killing his friends until that chip was
Amplified.
force electrocuted
Yeah, right.
without the force. So he can't really be blamed for being altered yet again to kill his friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I love how he was still very conflicted, and then they end up telling you at the end, like, oh well, his chip was a little malfunctioning, but it's still in play. But it was nice to see like not just an immediate switch between, oh, Order 66, I guess we got to do this, but he was like, this is an order I think we're supposed to be doing, so I'm gonna do it, and they're like,
Yeah,
no, don't.
it's also like they have the which seems to be like kind of like this mantra that's been placed in their head of like I think it's something like good clones follow orders or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be kind of the programming philosophy behind it being exposed. Um, and yeah, it's fun to see shock troopers. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fate of the rest of the clones are on Camino.
Mm-hmm.
I have a gut feeling that it does not end well for them um,
Yeah.
in the wake of the transition from clone troopers to regular stormtroopers, regs as they're called.
Yeah, I was also very curious with what they were going to be doing with Omega because we saw her. I also wasn't sure if it was a boy or a girl, just seeing like
I think
photos.
it's a girl. Yeah,
But yeah, I was interested to see what Omega was going to be, and I thought she was either going to be a clone or a clone of Palpatine. But since she has an Australian accent, she she's a clone of
yeah.
Django.
I think it's a New Zealand accent.
Yeah.
And I also think that her name is potentially foreshadowing that she might be the last trooper, the Omega,
Mm.
last clone trooper commissioned. Which I mean, I don't want to predict any too much tragedy Um, but I do think all those young clones, all those baby clones, I do not think they will uh, make it out alive after
Yeah.
Tarkin decides that clones can't fully be trusted.
Hmm.
And I also think we might see Vader deal with the clones as well.
But yeah, I like the show. It's a great first episode, and it was what 70 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long one,
Yeah.
um, and it did not slow down at all. For
Hmm.
that long of an episode, it was pretty constant, um, at least constant tension. I felt tense.
Yeah.
Um, they're like, let's give them something to Tarkin about, and they did not disappoint. I thought he's just as cold and conniving as ever,
Hmm.
and I think that potentially the Bad Batch we'll see who they're talking about.
I'm
It could
expecting
be
it to be Rex.
or Finnick Shand. I know Finnick
Oh yeah.
potentially has a role in it. It could be Finnick Shand.
Oh yeah. I could
Um,
see that as a huge possibility.
so I mean, we'll see. It could be Ahsoka. It really sky's the limit in terms of who could be who's at J19. No sunken battleships on J19 though. Unfortunately, probably not.
Jingo.
Jingo.
What were some of the things that really stuck out to you in the episode, like fun moments?
I thought that the seeing the behavior change
Hmm.
from normal clones to just kind of like these cold jerks.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
they were acting like stormtroopers.
yeah, they're acting like stormtroopers. They're aggressive and angry. They're like fully compliant. Like
Hmm.
their behavior isn't just kill Jedi. It's also like they're very much more obedient now. It seems
Hmm.
like that has to be activated to keep up their loyalty.
Yeah, yeah. I loved the beginning. But I also loved when Omega sits with them at lunch, and none of the other clone troopers will. Look at the nerd table, just like making fun of them like high schoolers. Like,
Yeah, I know.
and they respond with, "No one's ever done that before. No one's ever sat with us."
So they're like maybe seen as less than Breakfast Club style.
Hmm.
Hey, 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 hey.
Mess with
Ooh.
the bull, you get the horns. I got
Yep.
you for 2 Saturdays.
Yeah, I guess that's Tarkin, the equivalent of Tarkin in this
Oh
episode.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how Crosshair hunts down the rest of them
Hmm.
and finding out what Omega's abilities are. Because I feel like
Yeah.
she's very like empathetic. She's like maybe she's force sensitive.
That's what I was thinking. She does come off very force sensitive.
Yeah, she was like, I know what you're feeling, and she has that moment in the cell with them when she tells Crosshair like, I know you don't want to do it, and then it's before he gets kind of retuned in
Hmm.
Clone Auto Shop
Yeah.
and to be made more aggressive and compliant. And so it seems like she has a gift of foresight. She told the clones not to go on the planet
Hmm.
beforehand. She seems to have some sort of ability to look into the sands of time.
But
But
no, I think
yeah,
it is force sensitive. I definitely believe that.
it'll be interesting to see how her story arc and if she pops up later, as an adult, as a potential like new Jedi,
Hmm. I was also
But
expecting her to end up being Rey's mother.
oh yeah,
Like
that's a possibility.
like she's a Palpatine, but maybe it's like Omega Palpatine or something. I don't know. Kind of a
Yeah,
long shot, but
because she would have to be because it's her Rey's father is the Palpatine clone, right? The altered Palpatine clone. So she'd have to
mm,
meet another clone
yeah.
of Palpatine.
Mm,
It'd be nice to have some sort of setup for Episode 9.
yeah, a nice tie-in somehow.
Any kind of setup would be great.
Obviously, I love that training simulator. I always love the action from these, but I was expecting him to release Jedi, and that was going to be the simulation. Like they have to fight these like Jedi that were captured and basically like kill them.
Oh, that would have been really interesting.
Hmm.
I also feel like the BX battle droids that are like the BX. I'm trying to find out the
They looked like
Batman
they looked like
final.
not space troopers, but
No, it's I think it's the precursor to the last season, the last episode of Mandalorian.
dark troopers.
Yeah, Dark Troopers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They looked like. I mean, they looked like the original Dark Troopers from like Dark Forces and stuff, like the old
yeah,
video games. Because the new ones are just like jet black and
yeah. So I definitely think it's like an early concept for Dark Troopers that are
yeah.
less not as good as their job because they have the same sort of like aesthetic and they look like they stand longer. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's you know maybe that's an option that Tarkin is mulling over, is
Mm-hmm.
using these new battle droids.
Yeah. So where do you think the show's gonna go?
Only up and up. I feel like they're going to potentially meet up with Fennec Shand, and then I feel like they might join an early version of the rebellion. Uh,
Okay.
Potentially do. I mean, my wildest dreams come true as they do the dirty work of the early rebellion,
Mm-hmm.
as like a precursor to Cassian Andor working in intelligence almost, and
It'd be
like
great to see
dark ops.
this show lead to that.
Yeah, I think what a great through line through both Rebels and now this is the trajectory of the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do a great job of kind of seeing it, and even Solo too, of seeing how far along the rebellion is, and obviously this is the way early stages. It's like 8 people, on a camping trip,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still something. And Saw, even though he's a little misguided and a little ruthless, he does kind of predict that more and more people will join rebellion. It just
Yeah.
takes them 16 years
Mm-hmm.
before they're blown up Death Stars, and yeah. So I'm eager to see more of that play out.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see that as well. I think Crosshair is gonna come back as a good person, and we're gonna get more trooper on trooper action. I think Vader's gonna get pretty heavily involved. I
Hmm.
don't think we're going to be seeing too many other characters from Clone Wars. I think we're probably going to get, like you were saying, maybe leading into Andor, but I think we're definitely moving out of Clone Wars and into
Yeah.
bridging the gaps between the next two movies, which are Solo and Rogue One.
Yes, and I think we're gonna, in one way or another, see how clones are dealt with, and I mean that in the most serious way possible. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are no clones, pretty much, in Rebels, and that's what, like 10 years from this,
Yeah.
and so something has had to happen to them, and I don't think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. What if they just moved them all to Alderaan?
They've always they just wanted to test them put them in there on Alderaan just so they could blow them up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else. I thought it was great. A great first episode. I'm excited to see what they do. Hopefully, all the other episodes are, at least half an hour. I know that they're probably gonna mix between 45 minutes and an hour and half an hour, but I hope that we get more and more.
Yeah, I think that it was a great first episode. It set the scene, and yeah, I think that if they could go into, I mean, I'm a fan of detail as much as possible. If they want to make them 70-minute episodes each, you have my vote. So
Yeah. Since it's May 4th, how do you plan on celebrating?
I'm actually going to be covering for work an event hosted by Mark Hamill, where I think Donald Glover's going to be there. John Williams. It's called Quarantunes, and it
Hmm.
is a um, recurring kind of fundraiser that's musical
Mm-hmm.
based, and so they'll have some Star Wars, great Star Wars figures there, doing something musical, which I'm really excited about. So that's how I'll be celebrating.
Oh, nice. I just got all of my retro figures of The Mandalorian, so I'm going to be opening those up. I'm going to
Nice.
be drinking coffee out of my Mandalorian mug, and I'm going to lift rocks with my brain.
Aw, I always knew you're force sensitive, or maybe you're
Just with rocks.
just sensitive,
I'm forcefully sensitive. Like
forcefully sensitive.
it's like obnoxious.
You hurt my feelings. Ugh.
Yep. I
That's me
force
being
cry. I
force
force
cry.
cry.
So.
I'm gonna have tears coming down my face in post. Exactly.
Um, well, I always knew you were a Jedi. Thanks for chatting with me about the episode.
Faux show. And next Monday is the official debut of The Key to All of This, where we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 10, what we think is going to happen, what we want to happen, and basically everything in between. So next Monday, 8:30 p.m., first episode of The Key to All of This.
Well, I've been Tim McGovern.
Yep.
Did you want to call your... Should we take that again?
No.
Okay. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.